My mother was everything I wasn't: stunning, graceful, and effortlessly captivating. Her beauty was the kind that didn't just turn heads, but left people in awe. Growing up, I, her 15-year-old daughter, was constantly reminded of how plain, how utterly ordinary I was in comparison. My reflection in the mirror was a cruel contrast to her timeless elegance. Every flaw, every imperfection on my face felt like an accusation. Why did I look like this when she was so perfect? I never imagined the answer would be so horrifying. Life with my mother was like living in the shadow of a goddess. Every time we stepped out together, people couldn't help but stare. Not at me, of course, but at her. Her radiant beauty was the kind that made people forget themselves. They would compliment her endlessly, sometimes even asking if she was a model or an actress. And then, without fail, they would look at me with pity. The unspoken question hung in the air: how could someone so plain, so insignificant, be her daughter? I hated the way they looked at me, the way they compared us. I began to dread public outings, knowing that I would always come up short. My mother, on the other hand, seemed to thrive on the attention. She would smile gracefully, accepting their compliments as if they were her due. But behind that smile, there was something else, something I couldn't quite put my finger on. As I got older, I started noticing things about my mother that didn't add up. For one, she never seemed to age. While other mothers began to show signs of time, laugh lines, gray hairs, the slight sagging of skin, my mother remained unchanged. Her face was as smooth and flawless as it had been when I was a child. It was like time had no power over her. I began to wonder about her beauty routine. She spent hours in front of her vanity, applying creams and serums with the precision of a surgeon. Her bathroom was stocked with expensive products from brands I had never heard of. But it wasn't just the products. There was a ritualistic quality to the way she applied them, as if she were performing some kind of sacred rite. One day, when she was out, I sneaked into her bathroom to take a closer look. I opened the drawers and cabinets, expecting to find the usual beauty products, but what I found was something else entirely. Hidden at the back of the drawer was a small old journal. Its leather cover was worn and cracked, and it looked completely out of place among the sleek, modern bottles and jars. My heart raced as I opened the journal. The pages were filled with elegant handwriting, but the content was anything but elegant. It was a diary of sorts, detailing my mother's life over the years. But as I read, it became clear that this wasn't just any diary. It was a record of something dark, something twisted. The entries started innocuously enough, describing her day-to-day life, her beauty routines, and her social engagements. But as I read further, the tone shifted. The entries became more frantic, more desperate. She wrote about an encounter with a mysterious woman who had offered her a deal, eternal beauty in exchange for something precious. My mother, desperate to maintain her looks, had agreed. At first, the deal seemed harmless. She wrote about how her skin became smoother, her hair shinier, her figure more youthful. But then, the entries became darker. She wrote about strange dreams, about waking up in the middle of the night feeling like something was being taken from her. And then, she wrote about me. My blood ran cold as I read the final entries. She wrote about how the entity demanded a greater sacrifice, a life force to sustain the beauty she had been granted. And that life force had to come from someone close, someone who shared her blood. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. The reason I had always felt so plain, so ugly, was because my mother was draining my youth and beauty to maintain her own. I felt sick to my stomach. How could she do this to me? How could she choose her vanity over her own daughter? I wanted to confront her, to scream at her, but I was too afraid. What if she denied it? What if she laughed in my face? What if she tried to hurt me? I was just a teenager and she was my mother. The thought of standing up to her was terrifying. But I knew I couldn't keep this to myself. I had to do something. I spent days agonizing over what to do. I avoided her as much as possible, hiding in my room, pretending to be sick. But she noticed. Of course she noticed. One evening, she cornered me in the hallway, "You've been acting strange lately," she said, her voice calm, but with an edge of suspicion. "Is something wrong?" I couldn't hold it in any longer. "I found your journal," I blurted out. Her face went white. For a moment, she looked like she might faint. Then she quickly composed herself, her expression hardening. "You shouldn't have done that," she said, her voice cold. "What are you?" I demanded. "What have you done to me?" She sighed, as if I were a child throwing a tantrum. "You don't understand. I did it for you, for us. You have no idea what it's like to be beautiful and watch it slip away. I couldn't let that happen." Her words made my blood boil. "You did it for yourself," I screamed. "You took my life to keep yourself young. You stole my beauty, my future." She didn't deny it. Instead, she looked at me with a kind of cold, clinical detachment. "It's a small price to pay," she said. "You wouldn't have been anything special anyway." That was the final straw. I knew I couldn't let her continue. I had to find a way to break the curse, to end the cycle. I spent the next few days researching, trying to find any mention of the entity she had made the deal with. I combed through libraries, old books, and the darkest corners of the internet. Finally, I found a clue, a vague reference to a way to end the curse. The key was to destroy the source of her power, the vial of liquid she had hidden away. According to the text, it was both the source of her beauty and her undoing. If I could get my hands on it, I could end this nightmare once and for all. The night I decided to act was one of the longest nights of my life. My mother had gone to bed, and I waited until I was sure she was asleep. Then I crept into her room. The vial was hidden in the same drawer where I had found the journal, among the bottles of cream and serum. My hands shook as I reached for it. But as soon as I touched the vial, my mother's hand shot out and grabbed my wrist. I gasped, nearly dropping the vial. She was awake, her eyes glowing with a strange, otherworldly light. "You don't know what you're doing," she hissed. "You'll ruin everything." "I know exactly what I'm doing," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. "I'm taking back what you stole from me." With a burst of strength I didn't know I had, I yanked the vial from her grip and smashed it against the floor. The liquid inside sizzled as it seeped into the carpet. My mother screamed, a sound that was more animal than human. Her beauty began to melt away before my eyes, her flawless skin sagging, her hair turning gray and brittle, her eyes hollowing out. When it was over, she collapsed onto the floor, sobbing. Her beauty was gone, and with it, her power. She looked up at me, her face a twisted mask of hatred and despair. "You've destroyed us both," she spat. "No," I said quietly. "I've set us free." The days that followed were difficult. My mother, now stripped of the one thing she valued most, withdrew from the world. She refused to leave the house, hiding away from the world she once dazzled. I felt a strange mix of pity and satisfaction. She had lost everything because of her vanity, but she had also lost the power to hurt me anymore. As for me, life didn't magically get better overnight. I was still plain, still the same girl I had always been. But I no longer felt like a shadow, no longer felt like I was being drained of something vital. I had taken control of my life, and for the first time, I felt like I was more than just my mother's daughter. I was myself.